Expedition to Castle Ravenloft was released in 2006, written by Bruce Cordell and James Wyatt, with interior art by David Alsop, Coleman Androfsky, Ralph Horsley, William O'Connor, Lucio Perillo, Ann Stokes, and Eva Wilderman, with a cover by Kev Walker. It is 221 pages for levels 6 to 10. It's a reprint of the classic i6 Ravenloft Adventure module by Tracy and Laura Hickman, but with a lot of added material to play as a mini campaign. And it has nothing to do with the Ravenloft campaign setting. Before I get into my review, I'm going to go ahead and state my bias. I hate this product, and I never have given it a fair chance. I love the Ravenloft campaign setting, and was very upset when Wizards of the Coast declined to renew the Ravenloft license to Sword and Sorcery. Now sure, 3rd edition Ravenloft had a few problems under Sword and Sorcery, but the VR guides were good. They were hit and miss without the blue products like Legacy of Blood and Dark Tales and Disturbing Legends, but the Gazetteers were some great products, and the plans they had for their product line were ambitious and very exciting. So for me then, for Wizards to come out with a souped up remake of i6 that ignores the Ravenloft campaign setting and then sits on the IP for 10 years and does nothing with it really ticked me off. And I have not supported Wizards of the Coast since then. You can call me petty, you can say I took my ball and went home, but that's how I feel. However, I will try and put my feelings aside and look at things objectively. Now first, the format. I do like the hardbound campaign all-in-one book type of format. Yes, you pay a little bit more, but I think the quality is worth it. But I'm not a big fan of the art. It looks more fantasy than gothic horror, and I don't like how they did the maps. Now the art I know is subjective, but still, it just doesn't come off as gothic to me. Now the maps are too small, and they just lack the epic grandeur of the 2nd edition, or hell, even the 5th edition maps in a lot of cases. The adventure part of this product, that it directly is a printing of the classic i6, just in 3rd edition, is good. It may be repackaged a little differently, but it's still the same great classic adventure. So then we have to look at the new added side encounters. From a 3rd edition player standpoint, to me, they too are okay. Easy to run for a DM and fun for players to play. And honestly, some of them are pretty interesting and creative. But the big problem I have with it is that none of them feel very gothic. It all feels very fantasy based with minor gothic touches. Even Stride himself looks and acts differently. Making him look elvish and having suffering from madness just doesn't fit the Stride I know. The new added adventures actually don't mesh well with the original Gothic classic for the tone that it had. Now maybe they were going for something totally different, but it just didn't work for me. Both the 2nd edition and 5th edition remakes do a much better job of keeping the Gothic tone the original had. And this one should have too. Now I do not recommend this product, especially if you love the Ravenloft campaign setting, because it's just going to anger you. And yes, I am biased, but still, unless you just play 3rd edition, then this really offers nothing for you. I mean, at its base, it is a good adventure, don't get me wrong, but it's not a gothic one. And that's what made the original stand out so much. In a world of fantasy, i6 was gothic with a touch of fantasy. This one is fantasy with a touch of gothic. So, you know, that's a big point for me. Now, if you play 5th edition, then just get Curse of Stride, because it's a lot better than this. If you play 2nd edition, don't even bother with this, because this has nothing to do with your regular campaign settings. And if you like Ravenloft 3rd edition, the stuff that Sword and Sorcery did, well, this doesn't mesh well with it at all. Just stick to that stuff. So yes, don't waste your time or money on this product. The Master of Ravenloft is having guests for dinner, and you are invited. A dark shape emerges from the shadow of Castle Ravenloft. A flash of lightning reveals the sneering countenance of Count Stride von Zarovich. His eyes burn with eternal hunger and contempt for life. From a narrow balcony, he peers out into the dizzying twilight at the few sad lights of the village below and mutters a single name, Irina. The Expedition to Castle Ravenloft campaign adventure updates the original 1st edition Ravenloft module, retaining the gothic flavor and familiar elements while expanding and reimagining some of the locations to create a deeper, richer adventure experience. This campaign adventure is designed for characters of levels 6 to 10 and features a new, easy-to-use combat encounter format. This book also presents new magic items, feats, and prestige classes for player characters, based on the classic adventure by Tracy and Laura Hickman.